So someone asked me the question the other day again about isn't doing raw foods really expensive, and as this is a question that I get asked a lot, and I really don't think it's true, I thought I'd just make a little video to go into detail as to why I think raw foods is actually a really valuable and economic investment that you can put into your life. So first of all, I think maybe when people are new to raw foods, they look at what we're doing and they look at all the superfoods and they look at some of the price tags on the bottles and they think it means that they have to go out and spend £40, £50 on all these different things. And I make really clear, if you come to my lectures, that basically the basis of a raw food diet in a nutshell is eating lots of vegetables. And that's what I always advise people to do, is eat lots of vegetables and drink lots of water. And I would say your diet should be 50% vegetables and at least 3 or 4 litres of water a day. And vegetables are really economical to buy. Water is really inexpensive to drink. With the vegetables, if you eat locally and seasonally, which is what I do, what I recommend, then when you're eating locally and seasonally, obviously that brings the cost down because imported food is more expensive. So first of all, you can do a raw food diet really easily just by eating lots of vegetables, doing lots of sprouting. Sprouts is really cheap, growing your own indoor greens, and just making sure you're getting lots of hydration, lots of high quality liquids. As far as the superfoods go, and I am a big advocate of superfoods, I do use superfoods a lot, I do suggest to people that they use them a lot, but the thing with the superfoods is, again, if you come to my lectures I make this really clear, but the thing with the superfoods is you just need really tiny amounts. So I know there are people in this area of expertise who do advocate mega doses, and they do say take loads of this and loads of that, and I really don't think that's beneficial. I really don't think that's the way to go about them. So I think you're looking at these things kind of like homeopathy or flower essences, and you just want to get trace amounts of them into your diet. So with the majority of them, and we're talking about things like ashwagandha, reishi, suma, shatavari, heishi wu, purple corn extract, those are some of my favourites that I use a lot. With those, you know, I use 1/4 teaspoon in a dose. Mucuna is another one I use most days. Ginkgo, 1/4 teaspoon is a dose, and maybe I go up to 1/2 teaspoon if there's something going on, if I've got lots of work to do, or I'm going out dancing or going to a party, then I might do a bigger dose, but really 1/4 teaspoon is fine. And that's all you need. So when you actually work out the cost of them per daily dosage, it's really, really small. All the ones I just mentioned are around £10, and most of them are actually under £10 for 100 grams. So the daily dosage is really minimal per day. Then you've got things like maca and chlorella and spirulina, and you do need to take bigger doses of those. But again, I think you could do a healthy superfood intake, taking 3 superfoods a day, which is all you really need, say maca, chlorella, reishi, something like that, for less than £3 a day. And when you compare that to what people spend on alcohol, what people spend on cigarettes, what people spend on so-called leisure activities, but you know, so much of our stimulation these days is in unhealthy ways, isn't it? Things like computer games, you know, mass media, the way it's not making us feel uplifted, not making us feel empowered, not making us feel strong, not making us feel liberated. But a lot of that stuff is, I would say, deliberately designed to make us feel weak, to make us feel inadequate, to make us feel like there's no point in trying to change our lives. So you contrast the amount you have to invest in a daily basis on superfoods and the benefits they give you with what an average person spends in a week on alcohol, tobacco, narcotics, TV, media, stimulation, all that kind of stuff. I would say probably on average it's going to be cheaper to do superfoods, and the benefits are just so great. The benefits are so great. So everyone has more energy. I would say I sleep for 2 hours less a night, and that's on a conservative estimate. So if you work that in a week, that's 14 hours in a week. So I'm getting a whole day extra out of my week. Surely that's worth the investment of £3 a day. Positivity, creativity, so being able to see through challenges, not being so easily got down by situations, being able to create positive solutions, that's obviously something really valuable. Not having to take sick days. I don't think I've had a sick day all year. I don't think I had a sick day all last year either. So, you know, if they put superfoods on the National Health Service, how much would that save the country in sick pay? You know, huge amounts, because you're just going to get sick a lot less. And the other thing as well, someone said to me once when I was in Iceland, actually, he made a really good point, and he said, since I've been doing superfoods, I just feel more abundant. So because, you know, I believe abundance is the natural state of the universe, and that we are naturally abundant, and when we're tuned into our inner selves, our true selves, our divine selves, whatever you want to call that, when we're tuned into who we really are, we manifest abundance, because that is nature's way. Nature is constantly abundant. So when we're eating the superfoods, it helps us align with that abundance frequency. So somehow, this guy said to me, somehow he always found the way to get more superfoods, and he didn't know how he was going to budget for them, but once he started eating them, he just felt more abundant about life. So he kept manifesting the ability to be able to afford them. So we've got basically the key points are to just eat lots of vegetables, local vegetables, sprouts, drink lots of water, and just have minimal doses of superfoods, and to think about how the superfoods are going to improve your quality of life, and how that's such a good investment. And also the last thing I would say is that when we're eating these foods, you know, for a long time, I think, you know, especially now, I just came across an article from like 2002 or something, and they were talking about organics, and it kind of made me sad, because at that point organics was seen as a realistic option. It was seen as the future of food. There was a lot of investment in organics, and that's really fallen away, I would say, in the past 10 years, and organics has really fallen out of fashion, and it's now seen as the preserve of the upper middle classes, people who shop in Waitrose and have those kind of incomes. And that's really sad, because it wasn't like that for, you know, I started doing organics at the end of the 80s, and certainly it was very minority then, but there was a point in the late 90s and the 2000s when it was seen as a viable option, and I think it's sad that that's fallen away. But the kind of so that's what I was saying, is that we're kind of seen as indulgent or spoiling ourselves somehow, that we can afford to eat like this. But what I realised the other day is actually I spend a lot on food, and I spend more than the average person, definitely, but that's also really good for me. But a lot of that money that I'm spending is because the kind of food I eat, the workers are paid properly, the farmers are paid properly, the people processing, producing, packaging the foods, they're all paid properly. And when you're shopping in somewhere like Asda or Lidl, or, you know, those kind of mass market places, how are those people that are making your food being treated? How are they being valued along the way? So I think, you know, when you're buying from small businesses like Raw Living, we really treat our staff really well, and the whole product is made with love, and that costs a lot more. So obviously, if I'm spending more on food, that's benefiting me, undoubtedly, but it's also really benefiting the people that are making the food. And actually, it's not a selfish choice to invest so much of your income in your food choices, because you're really then investing in the people that are making that food, as opposed to investing in the companies who don't treat their workers properly, who don't care about biodegradable packaging and all that kind of thing. So Oh, and also, of course, there's all the EU subsidies of when you're having to clean up the land from the pesticides, and so much of taxpayers' money. There's all these hidden costs to non-organic food, so much of taxpayers' money goes into cleaning up the land, the subsidies to farmers. I think I read that half of the annual EU budget goes in subsidies to farmers. So if you just think about that, that's a lot of money, and that's going into all the hidden costs that you don't see, because organic farmers don't get the same subsidies. So there's all the hidden costs in cheap food that you don't see, that are actually, you're being defrauded in a way. And when you're paying real value for food, then that's really going back to the people that are making it. It's a much more honest transaction, I would say. So so lots of reasons there, and hopefully that's given you some ideas. So next time someone says to you, isn't raw foods expensive, you can remember some of those reasons, and maybe share the video And yeah, I think, you know, what's the most important thing to invest in is it's investing in ourselves, in our bodies, but also investing in our planet. And eating this way is really doing that. And I would prefer to spend my money with those choices and not have money for satellite TV or going down the pub or I don't know, designer clothes, new sofa, all the things that people might choose. I put my choice in my body and in the planet. So yeah, so thank you, and yeah, I'll see you again soon.